Welcome to Yoga with Krysta, the place to be to deepen your practice and to create balance in all aspects of your life. My name is Krysta French, and today's class is a 35-minute yoga class devoted to opening tight hips. So we'll begin seated on our mats in our Sukhasana, our easy pose. So you can just come resting on the sits bones with the legs crossed, hands on top of the knees, palms facing down. Close your eyes. Begin to settle into your breath. And as you pay attention to your breath, start to lengthen through the spine. So reaching up through the crown of your head and pulling down through the sits bones. Allow the collarbones to broaden. As you inhale, the belly fills, the ribs expand, everything opens. And as you exhale, make sure you're exhaling completely. So totally letting go of any kind of tension. From here, we'll begin some Sufi circles. So you can begin just by moving your heart forward, opening through your chest, making a big circle with the whole body. As you exhale, come around back, rounding through the spine and the upper back, and really allow your shoulders and hips to become involved in this movement. Feel free to keep your eyes closed here and try to link your breath with your movement. Start to switch directions. So inhaling, coming forward, opening through the chest, exhaling, rounding through the spine, and let it be a full body movement. So really linking breath with movement here. Few more times, and then eventually come back to center. Inhale, the arms lift up, press the palms. Exhale, take your twist over to the right side. So left hand falls across the outside of the right thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, find a little bit of a deeper twist. And just notice how the spine reacts. Inhale, the arms reach back up. Exhale, take your twist over to the left side. So just gently warming up through the spine and the hips here. Nice and tall. Inhale, the arms back up. And then exhale, hands come back at the heart center. Feel free to set an intention here. It can be something very simple, maybe just a word or a phrase. Whatever it is, repeat it back to yourself, reminding yourself why you decided to show up on your mat today. And then from here, palms can come down in front of you. Let your knees scoot back and start to move through a few cat and cow poses. So on your inhales, the belly drops, the heart opens up, the tailbone reaches back. As you exhale, round through your spine, push the floor away, drop through the crown of your head, and just continue moving. So move at your own pace. Feel free to incorporate other movements if that feels really good. So inhale, belly falls, heart lifts, and exhale, rounding through the spine. And begin to tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, press back for your first downward facing dog, and then move around. So maybe you roll your ankles out. Feel free to bend the knees. Can lift a leg, roll around the knee, the hip, and the ankle. Just loosening things up. Starting to invite some movement into your body. Bend the knees a lot, lift the heels, and then begin to straighten the legs. So lift the hips high, drop the heels a little bit deeper. Chest is continuing to press back. From here, look forward and gently just step up to the front of your mat. Find your first flat back. Exhale to fold over. Inhale, arms reach up, palms press up overhead. Hands come down through the heart and all the way down at the sides. Inhale, reach it up again, palms press. Exhale, we're folding in half. Inhale to your flat back. And hands down, step the right foot back, drop the knee, untuck the toes, sweep your arms high. So pressing the hip bones forward, opening through the heart here. Gaze can come up. And then exhale, lower your hands down, back toes tuck under, step it forward to your flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press, hands lower at the heart, and then down to the sides. Inhale, arms sweep up again. Exhale, fold. So just building some warmth in the body. Inhale, flat back. Hands down, left foot steps back, drop the knee. Sweep your arms high, really pressing through the hips, opening through your chest, lifting the heart, and then exhale, hands find the ground. Tuck the back toes under, step it forward, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach high, hands down at the heart and down at the sides. Inhale, arms lift all the way up. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, flat back. And hands plant, step, or if you're ready, float back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Downward facing dog as you exhale. So nice, full, steady breath here. Full inhales, full exhales. Finding that length in the breath. Inhale, sweep your right leg high, and then bend the knees, step it forward right into warrior one. So arms reach high. If it feels okay, maybe the palms can press and you look up at the thumbs. That back heel is really grounded. Get longer through the sides of the body as you release your hands behind you, interlacing the fingers. Lift your heart as you inhale, open through your chest, and then exhale to humble warrior. So the shoulder can rest on top of the thigh or fall on the inside of it. Either way, the head is really heavy. We're moving the hands further away from the body. Inhale, arms reach back up again, find warrior one, and then exhale, lower the hands, step back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. So building more warmth in the body. This time, left leg lifts high, bend the knees, step it forward, warrior one. Arms reach high, so Virabhadrasana one. Maybe again those palms pressed, maybe they're separate. Either way, get really strong and steady through the legs, and then hands release behind you. Interlace the fingers, heart opens up, and then exhale to fold for humble warrior. Head is heavy, feel that hip opening, the shoulder opening up. And then from here, root down, rise back up into warrior one. Arms lift. Exhale, hands find the ground, step back, take your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Steady breath, calm mind. Full inhales, full exhales. From here, gaze comes forward, step or float up to the front, and then exhale, fold in half. Inhale, arms lift, high palms press, hands come down at the heart and down to the sides. Inhale, arms lift up, interlace all but the index finger and thumb, and then reach over toward the right side. So it can be a very gentle bend or a more intense bend. And then inhale, lift back up. Exhale, tip over to the left side. So just stretching through the entire side body all the way from fingertip to heel. Come back up to center, reach long, and hands meet at the lower back. Fingers to the floor, heart opens up. Really lift through the collarbones and then come back to neutral. Hands at the hips, feet are about hips width, and then fold in half. So we're finding our yoga toe grip. So Padangustasana, index finger and middle finger, loop around the big toes, connect it with the thumb, and then find your flat back as you inhale. Exhale, stay folded. So elbows are pulling nice and wide. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to here. So we're just lengthening the legs any amount. Inhale, find your flat back as you release your hands. And then we're working into our malasana, yogi squat. So separate the feet, soften the hips, lower them down. So hands are coming together in front of your heart, really starting to lengthen through the spine, dropping the hips a little bit deeper. If you want here, feel free to drop your elbows into the inner thighs, really pressing the thighs open to get a deeper opening in the hips. Full steady breath. Hands can come down. And then optional little crow pose here if you want it. So hands come down about shoulder width, gaze comes forward, and then transitioning right into chaturanga to upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. Steady breath, calm mind. Inhale, sweep your right leg high. You can open through your hip, roll around the knee, the hip, the ankle, so get some movement in the joint. Come back to a straight leg, step it up into our lizard pose. So foot comes on the outside of the right hand, dropping the back knee, untucking the toes. And from here, you can work into your version of lizard. So if you want to follow along with me, I'm taking my hands down, just pressing the hips forward, keeping the back knee lowered just to start. And then from here, I'm lowering down onto the forearms. So if that feels good, great. If you want a little bit deeper, maybe you tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up. You can even rock a little bit forward and back. I'm just getting further into the hips. And then lower the back knee down. Really reach the heart forward. Come back up onto the hands. And then turn the big toe side of that right foot open as you press your right thigh away. So looking over the right shoulder or rotating the hips open. To go deeper, you can bend the left knee, take hold of the outside of the right foot the left foot with the right hand as you work that foot a little bit closer towards you. Nice full steady breath here. And just getting into the quad and the hip flexor. And if this doesn't feel good, you can always return back to your lizard. So drop that back foot. We're going to slide the hips back, working into Ardha Hanumanasana, so half splits. So the goal here is to really lengthen out and stretch that hamstring. So we're folding over, reaching the chin down over toward the shin. Make sure that you're not sitting completely back on your heel. For something different, feel free to point your toes rather, and fold a little bit deeper. You can go back and forth, flexing or pointing. And if you'd like, you can work right into your full splits here. So transitioning, reaching that right foot forward, reaching the left foot back. And blocks are always great tools here, placing them underneath that front thigh or underneath the hands for more support. We're going to come back into our half splits and then begin to put the weight into that right foot. So bending the knee, coming up into a low lunge. Palms together in front of the heart as you hook the left elbow over the right thigh. Rotate your whole torso to the right and then tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee up. Nice long spine here. Begin to untwist your torso as you reach your arms high. Big breath in, maybe a little bit of heart opener. Hands come back at the heart. And then we're shifting into that right foot, working into our tree pose. So find a steady gaze, balance on that right foot. Left foot is coming anywhere along that right leg. So make sure that you're not putting pressure on the right knee. To go deeper, you might reach your arms high. So Vrikshasana, tree pose. Hands come back at the heart. Flex your left foot as you bring the knee up, and then place that foot across the right knee. So we're sinking the hips back. The deeper your hips sink back here, the deeper the stretch is going to become in that left IT band, the quad area, the outside of your glute. And then slowly untwist for stepping back, high lunge. Lower your hands. Vinyasa is yours. So take it or leave it. We're meeting back in downward facing dog. Catch your breath. From here, inhale the left leg high. Open your hips, roll it around. Get that nice big stretch through the leg. Come back to a straight leg. And then step it forward right into your lizard pose. So foot comes on the outside of the left hand. Feel free to keep the knee up or drop it down. Again, any variation of your lizard, only going as deep as your hips allow. You might come down onto your forearms as you press your hips forward. Keep reaching the heart forward. Come back up onto the hands as you tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and rock a little bit forward and back. Just getting a little bit of movement. And then drop the back knee down. Reach the heart forward again. Really lengthening out, creating space through your hips. We can come back up, turn the big toe side of that left foot open, press the thigh away. So rolling the heart open toward the left side this time. And then begin to bend the right knee, catch the outside of the foot, slowly, mindfully working that foot a little bit closer towards you. We're getting into the quad, getting into the hip flexor, rotating the body toward the left side. Full, steady breath. Then release your foot, and then begin to slide your hips back right into half splits. So Ardha Hanumanasana, reaching the chin down over toward the shin, flexing or pointing the toes. You'll get a different sensation in the leg depending on which one you're doing. Folding into it. And always just come back to your breath. Maybe you work into that full splits if that feels really good. Slowly sliding that left heel forward, right foot back. Full steady breath. If you're in that full splits, we're going to begin to come back into our half splits. And then put the weight into the left foot, bend the knee for your low lunge. Torso lifts as you take the hands at the heart. And then hook that right elbow over the left thigh. Give it a nice big press, rotating open. And then back toes tuck under, lift the back knee up. Keep stretching the spine, so reaching the crown of the head forward, heel presses back. From here, untwist, find your steadiness as you lift your arms high. Find a dristi, an unmoving gaze. We're going to transition into our tree pose. So hands at the heart, begin, I fell out here. So I could edit that, but I won't. I think it's more natural just to keep it in. So hands come at the heart. We're shifting into the left foot and beginning to lift that right foot up. And if you make a mistake, you can always come back into it. Maybe your arms reach high. And then from that tree pose, slowly we're going to allow the hands to come back at the heart. Point the right knee up, flex your foot, take the foot across the left knee, and then begin to sink the hips back. So again, the deeper you're sinking the hips back, the deeper the stretch is going to be in the IT band and the glute. So the outside of the hips. You can always use blocks here and lower the hands down. It's always a nice option. And then from here, we're coming back up, lifting that knee, stepping it back, high lunge. Arms reach, maybe a little heart opener if it feels good. Lower your hands, step back, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full steady breath. And then drop the knees, sink back, child's pose, balasana. You might roll your forehead back and forth. Maybe in this child's pose, the knees are wide. Maybe they're together. And then from here, we're going to work right into our Mandukasana, our frog pose. So you're going to shift so you're lengthwise on your mat if you have sensitive knees. The knees are going to come really wide. Look down at your shins, make sure that they're parallel with each other, and then flex your feet so they're pointing in opposite directions. Drop down onto your forearms, and then when you're ready, slowly begin to press your hips back towards your heels. So the deeper you press your hips back, the deeper the stretch is going to be at your inner thighs. And this is a pretty intense posture, so take your time with it. If you need to come forward just to release the pressure, feel free to do that. So we're never pushing past our edge. We're always just working on finding that. And it's going to be different every day, and that's okay. And just take nice, full, steady breaths right here. Full inhales, full exhales. So really getting into the hips and the groin. And then from here, we're going to come back up. You can begin to slide forward onto your mat. So lowering down lengthwise on your mat now. Just laying down, forehead rests. Wiggle your hips a little bit side to side. You can bend the knees, swish the feet left and right. And then lower your feet back down. Just take a little rest. Let your body get heavy. And then let the hands come underneath the heart. You can press up into a cobra, maybe an upward facing dog if that feels good. And then begin to drop the knees, slide back, child's pose, balasana. Tuck your toes, lift the knees, sits bones, press back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Inhale, right arm, right leg reaches. Exhale, shift it through, land in your half pigeon. So Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. We're bending that right knee, lifting the heart, and then slowly lowering the hands, maybe your forearms, maybe even your forehead lowers down to find this pigeon pose. And keep in mind, if this is too intense, you can always come down onto your back and work into a figure 4 with the legs. Sometimes that's a little bit easier on the knees. And whichever pose you're choosing, make sure that you're just focusing back on the breath. So full inhales, full exhales. Noticing sensation as it comes up, not attaching to it, but just recognizing it and letting it go. From here, we'll come back up onto the hands, bending the left knee, catch the foot, and slowly work the foot a little bit closer towards you. So really getting into the quad and the hip flexor. And again, if that does not feel good, you can always release it, coming back into your pigeon. From here, we'll all release that foot, rock onto your right hip, spin the left foot around. So we're finding a seated twist. Drop the left hand behind you, reach the right arm high, and begin to hook that elbow over the left thigh. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, deepen the twist. Gaze drops over the shoulder. Full, steady breath right here. From here, untwist, take a little counter stretch. Walk your hands to the right side, dropping through the forehead, and then come back up. Extend that right leg long. Let your left foot come at the inner thigh for Janu Sirsasana. Fold over. So maybe the hands are resting at the ground, at the leg, or if you can take the bind, wrapping the hands around the foot. Keep reaching the heart forward. Full, steady breath. And then inhale, lift back up, come onto your fingertips, open your heart. Cross your shins, walk your hands forward, and take your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, begin to shift it through, landing in your half pigeon. So back leg is long, front knee is bent. Inhale, lift through the heart. And then when you're ready, slowly lowering your torso down. And again, maybe your forehead and your forearms come down. This is your practice, so do what feels best for you right here, right now. And just come back to the breath if your mind has started to drift away. Maybe connect with that intention you set at the beginning of class. And from here, we'll slowly lift through the heart, lift the torso, bend the right knee, catch the foot, and gently working that foot a little bit closer towards you. Trying to square your hip bones forward, getting into the quad, getting into the hip flexor. Full, steady breath. And then without slingshotting the foot, gently release the foot behind you. Rock onto the left hip, right leg spins around, finding our seated twist. Begin to lift that left arm as you twist to the right side. Inhale, find that length in the spine. And exhale, we're deepening through the twist. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you drop the gaze over the right shoulder. You can even work on Parshva Drishti, your side gaze, gazing all the way into the corner of the right eye. From here, untwist, take your little counter stretch, walk your hands over to the left side, bow into it. And then come back up, extend that left leg long, right foot comes into the inner thigh. And then begin to open through your heart as you reach over the left leg, folding into it. So our head to knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. Just working on lengthening out the left hamstrings. Slowly lift back up and then extend that right leg. Give it a nice shake. We'll take our bound angle, Baddha Konasana. So feet come together, soles of the feet touching, fold over, reach your heart forward. Try and keep a long spine here. If it feels good, you can press your elbows into the inner thighs to open your hips up just a little bit more. An option is yours. Begin to lift your heart. Hands come behind you and just windshield wiper your knees left and right. So releasing any kind of tension that's built up. Cross your shins, hands come down. Coming right into your tabletop, move through your cat and cow poses. So inhale, belly falls. Exhale, round through the spine, push the floor away. And then we're working into our cow face pose. So the right knee comes under the belly button, left knee comes directly behind that right knee, and we're gonna sit back. So feet are working in opposite directions. Just begin to hold your ankles here, and you might find that you need to sit on a block or a blanket. That's totally normal. And just start to lengthen through the spine. Relax your shoulders as you exhale, and then if it feels good and you want a little bit more, fold over the knees. So just allow your chest to touch your knees, so folding completely over if that feels okay. So nice big opening through the outside of the hips and the glutes. Inhale, lift back up, and then we're going to do something funky to come to the other side. So you can tuck your toes, let your hands come out in front of you, lift your hips up, so we're coming onto those toes, and then walk yourself over to the left side. Walk yourself in a complete circle, and then sit down again. And you'll find that this time the right knee is down or underneath, the left knee is on top. And if that didn't make any sense to you, come back to your tabletop, take the right knee in front, left knee in front, right knee behind, and then take a seat. We're lifting the heart, holding on to the ankles, and just focusing on the breath. If you want a little bit more, fold over the legs. And just deepening through the posture. And it doesn't have to be perfect. From here, lift back up. Take a nice big breath. relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing through the facial features. And then hands come behind you, uncross your legs, shake them out. So Uptavishta Konasana. So take the feet nice and wide here. Feet are pointing in opposite directions, feet pointing up toward the ceiling, knees also pointing up. And if that feels okay, if you want to go deeper, you can walk your hands forward, maybe your forearms, maybe even your whole torso. If this fold is way too much, just keep your hands behind you and work on lifting the torso and working on tilting the pelvis forward slightly. Slowly lift your torso back up, walk your hands back, take the feet together, shake them out, and then start to lower down onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest, rock a little bit left and right. So just massaging across the low back, across through the sacrum, and then let your knees rest over to the right side. Gaze drops off to the left. Let your left arm extend. And that left shoulder is getting a little bit heavier. You're always welcome to split the legs or cross the knees if that feels better. Full steady breath. And then inhale, the knees come back to center. Let them drop over to the left side. Gaze falls off to the right. Full inhales, full exhales. Just noticing how that gentle twist feels. And then let the knees come back to center, give them a hug, and find a happy baby. So the hands come around your feet, knees press wide, opening through the hips, rock a little bit left and right. And then when you're done, you can begin to extend the legs. So letting your hands rest open, the legs are stretched out, working right into our Shavasana. So today's quote for our Shavasana comes from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built. So just focusing on your breath. Starting to soften a little bit more. And just take your rest. So from here, begin to deepen the breath. Invite some movement back into your body. Take a nice big stretch, lengthen the spine, and then roll off to your right side, cradling the knees in toward the chest. Eventually, press yourself up and just find a comfortable, easy seat, spine nice and long, palms together in front of the heart. Begin to reconnect with the intention that you set at the beginning of class. Just notice it without judgment. And start to thank yourself for choosing to practice. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.